Today is January 19th, 2026, and you're watching Nullmicgo channel, your daily download of what's actually happening in AI. Beyond the hype, beyond the headlines. Today's stories are all about power and control, how AI can empower individuals and countries, how business models and ads might reshape your chatbots, how investors are freaking out, how your data can be exposed, and how new tools are quietly changing how we code, negotiate bills, and even do math research. Let's get into it. Story number 1 sets the tone for everything else. AI as a tool for self-empowerment. This comes from the OpenAI blog and was released on January 18th, 2026. The article is called AI for Self-Empowerment, and it argues that AI isn't just a cool gadget or a corporate productivity tool. It's a way to close what they call the capability overhang. In plain language, there's a big gap between what humans, businesses, and even countries are theoretically capable of and what they're actually doing day to day. OpenAI's thesis is that more capable AI systems can shrink that gap, help small businesses punch above their weight, let individuals automate complex tasks they'd never have time or expertise for, and help governments or developing nations leapfrog stages of growth. The blog frames AI as an amplifier of human agency. You still decide the goal, but AI helps you execute at the level that used to require an entire team a lot of money or years of training. And that theme, AI as leverage, quietly runs through almost every other story we're covering today. But if AI is becoming that central, we also have to talk about the business model behind it. That leads straight into story number 2. This next one comes from Mashable Tech News, also released January 18th, 2026, and is titled OpenAI to finally bring ads to ChatGPT. According to Mashable, OpenAI is moving to introduce advertising into ChatGPT. We don't have all the implementation details yet, but the core idea raises some big questions. If AI is supposed to empower you, what happens when your assistant is also an ad channel? How will OpenAI separate helpful suggestions from paid promotions? Will we see sponsored answers, recommended products, or AI-optimized ad slots inside conversations? On one hand, ads can subsidize access and keep prices low or free for many users. On the other hand, when your core tool for thinking, planning, and learning is influenced by advertisers, you have to ask, whose goals is the system really serving? Yours or the people paying to be in front of you? That tension between empowerment and control shows up again in the financial markets. Story number 3 comes through Hacker News AI Topics feed, pointing to a Bloomberg article titled No Reasons to Own. Software stocks sink on fear of new AI tool, published January 18th, 2026. Bloomberg reports that traditional software stocks are getting hammered because investors are afraid a new AI tool or class of tools could make big chunks of existing software obsolete. The Hacker News entry links to the Bloomberg piece and notes there are basically no comments yet, but the headline says it all. No reasons to own. What's going on here is a macro version of the same empowerment story. If AI tools can do what entire platforms or SaaS products used to do, why would customers keep paying those old subscription fees? Investors are starting to price in the idea that AI agents or general purpose tools might replace specialized software in areas like analytics, coding, customer support, and more. So on the one side, you have individuals and small teams getting superpowers. On the other side, you have big incumbents and their shareholders suddenly asking, Are we the next ones to be automated away? But while the markets are panicking about the future, another story reminds us that the present still has some very old-fashioned problems: security and privacy. Story number 4 also comes via Hacker News, AI Topics, and points to a post on X, formerly Twitter, from user at Harris0n. The issue was surfaced on January 18th, 2026. The title on Hacker News is AI Chat App with 50 million downloads exposes over 300 million user messages. According to that post, an AI chat app with tens of millions of downloads apparently left over 300 million user messages exposed. The Hacker News summary links to the tweet and the discussion thread, but the key point is simple and scary. Massive scale plus sloppy security equals a huge privacy disaster. If you've ever dumped sensitive stuff into a random AI chat app, personal details, company secrets, medical info, this is exactly the nightmare scenario. This story is a sharp reminder that as AI gets more integrated into our lives, the boring stuff like encryption, access controls, and secure architecture becomes existential. It doesn't matter how empowering the model is if your data is sitting on a misconfigured server. That theme of AI needs to be both powerful and safe connects nicely to our next piece, which is about using AI to catch bugs and vulnerabilities before they blow up. Story number 5 comes from Hacker News again under the show HN tag and was posted on January 18th, 2026. The project is called Whisper AI Code Reviewer that catches security issues and bugs. And the full details are on use. Whisper.dev. Important note, this same Whisper article is actually listed twice in our feed as story number 5 and story number 8, both from Hacker News AI Topics on January 18th, 2026, pointing to use Whisper.dev. So we'll cover them together here. Whisper is an AI-powered code reviewer built specifically to catch logic and security flaws, not just style issues. The creator explains on Hacker News that most AI code reviewers today are basically linters with GPT. They look at diffs and comment on formatting or simple patterns. Traditional security scanners mostly check dependencies and often drown you in false positives. Whisper tries a different approach. It traces execution flow through your code. For example, as den går, it can follow user input as it passes through multiple functions until it hits a raw SQL query and then flag a potential SQL injection. It can spot race conditions in something like payment processing, where concurrent requests could double charge a user between a balance check and an update. According to the post, Whisper is in private beta, has analyzed over 2.4 million lines of code, and caught more than 1,000 bugs with an average scan time of about 47 seconds. It supports multiple languages and has deep understanding of frameworks like Next.js, React, and TRPC. The founder's thesis is that big players are optimized for enterprise contracts and broad feature sets, while Whisper is laser focused on one thing: stopping security bugs from shipping in pull requests. So while one AI AP is leaking 300 million messages, another AI tool is trying to make sure that kind of vulnerability never gets into production in the first place. Speaking of Next.js and modern web stacks, our next story is about giving AI coding agents a toolbox built on a decade of hard-earned experience. Story number 6 comes from MarkTech Post AI News, published January 18th, 2026. The headline is Vercel releases agent skills, a package manager for AI coding agents with 10 years of React and Next.js optimization rules. MarkTech Post reports that Vercel has launched something called Agent Skills, essentially a package manager for AI coding agents. It follows the agent skills specification and turns performance and design best practices into reusable skills that agents can install and use. And the first focus areas are React and Next.js performance tuning, web design review, and claimable deployments on Vercel. The idea is that instead of prompting your AI coding assistant with "please optimize this" and hoping it remembers every trick, you can install a skill that encodes 10 years of React and Next.js optimization rules. The install flow is designed to feel similar to NPM, but for AI agents instead of human developers. This is a subtle but important shift. We're moving from AI that vaguely knows how to code to AI that can load domain-specific playbooks as packages. Combine that with a tool like Whisper, and you can imagine a future where your AI agent not only writes your code, but also automatically applies performance best practices and runs deep security analysis before you ever hit merge. So far, we've seen AI empowering coders, scaring investors, and raising security flags. But AI is also starting to show up in some very human, very practical corners of life, like your medical bills. Story number 9 comes from Hacker News AI Topics and was posted January 18th, 2026 under the title "Show HN I'm selling AI medical bill review for $1 and still making 60 times. The project lives at i4buck.com/medical-repricing. The creator explains that they work in big tech and were surprised by how cheap many AI use cases actually are at scale. So they built a site, a4buck.com, where you pay $1 and get access to powerful models and agents without tracking or ads. One of the flagship tools is AI-powered medical bill repricing. You upload an image of your bill and the system queries Medicare and health service cost data, then helps you generate a negotiation letter. Traditional services often charge 10 to 30% of your savings for this kind of help. The builder found that most bills cost about 10 cents in compute to pass and reprice. So charging $1 still leaves a roughly 60 times margin. From there, they expanded into car price negotiation, resume review, and legal letters, all using similar economics: low compute costs, simple pricing, no subscriptions, and no upsell tricks. The stated goal is to democratize AI usage and push back against $200 per month AI wrapper products. This is a very literal example of that AI for self-empowerment theme from the OpenAI blog story. You don't need to be a lawyer, a medical billing expert, or a professional negotiator. You pay $1 and an AI agent plus some well-designed workflows gives you leverage you probably didn't have before. But AI isn't just helping with everyday life and code. It's also starting to nibble at the frontier of pure mathematics. Story number 7 comes from Hacker News AI Topics and links to a GitHub wiki page titled AI Contributions to Erdős Problems, published and maintained on GitHub and surfaced on January 18th, 2026. The page, hosted on GitHub under /Erdős Problems, documents how AI systems are contributing to problems in the style of Paul Erdős. Classic, often very hard questions in combinatorics and number theory. While the specific details are in the wiki itself, the theme is that AI isn't just doing pattern recognition on images and text, it's starting to assist with conjectures, proofs, and exploration in high-level math. This is another flavor of agency amplification. Mathematicians using AI systems as collaborators that can search massive combinatorial spaces, check cases, or suggest structures that might lead to new theorems. It's early and human experts are still absolutely central, but the GitHub page is essentially a living record of AI actually helped here, not just AI wrote a blog post about math. Finally, let's zoom out from tools and applications and talk about how AI systems themselves reason and remember. Not just what they decide, but why they decided it. Story number 10 comes from Hacker News AI Topics and points to a Medium article published on January 18, 2026 titled AI Systems That Don't Just Make Decisions, but Remember and Use the Why. It's on Medium from Neo4j, and the article is hands-on with context graphs and Neo4j. The piece explores using graph databases, specifically Neo4j, to store context graphs that capture not just facts, but relationships and reasoning paths. Instead of a model just outputting an answer, you have a structured record of how it got there, which facts it used, how they're connected, and why a particular conclusion was chosen. With context graphs, an AI system can reuse past reasoning for new questions, explain its decisions in a more transparent way, and maintain long-term memory that's more structured than just a blob of text history. This ties directly back to our opening theme. If we want AI to genuinely expand human agency, not just spit out opaque answers, we need systems that can surface their why, so we can inspect it, challenge it, and improve. Interpret. That matters for debugging code, negotiating bills, approving AI-generated math ideas, and even deciding which ads, if any, should show up in your chat window. So pulling all of this together, the OpenAI blog on January 18th, 2026 paints a vision of AI as a force for self-empowerment and closing the capability overhang. Mashable Tech News, also on January 18, reports that OpenAI is bringing ads to ChatGPT, forcing us to ask how aligned our AI assistants will really be with our interests. Bloomberg, via Hacker News AI Topics, describes software investors panicking over new AI tools that might make entire categories of software obsolete. A security incident highlighted on X by @Harris0n and surfaced on Hacker News shows an AI chat app with 50 million downloads exposing over 300 million user messages. A brutal reminder that without security, empowerment turns into risk. On the tooling side, Whisper from usewhisper.dev, featured twice on Hacker News, is using AI to trace execution flow and catch deep security bugs and race conditions before they ship. Vercel, as reported by MarkTech is giving AI coding agents a package manager of agent skills and coding a decade of React and Next.js optimization tricks so agents can write and tune production-grade front-ends. iForABuck.com, highlighted on Hacker News, shows that with today's models, you can sell AI medical bill review for $1, still make money, and massively level the playing field for consumers. The GitHub wiki on AI contributions to Erdős problems records AI's growing role in serious mathematical research. And Neo4j's Medium article on context graphs points to a future where AI systems don't just output answers, but remember and reuse the reasoning behind them. If you want to dive deeper, you can check out all the original sources. You've been watching Nullmicgo channel if you want a daily no-nonsense roundup of what's actually changing in AI, from research and tools to business models and security. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.